all of us in Buzz City as we welcome the Charlotte Hornets 2025 draft class to their new home. My name is Sam Farber. I'm the radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Charlotte Hornets, and it's my pleasure and privilege to be your MC for today. Before we get started, obviously, normally we would host events like this at our home Spectrum Center, which is currently undergoing its reimagination in anticipation of the 25-26 season. So we want to say a big thank you to our friends and partners from Lowe's Home Improvement for hosting us here in this beautiful space, the Tech Hub Auditorium, a great space for this great occasion. Whether you're here with us in person or are tuned in live on FanDuel Sports Network, 92.7 Sports Radio WFNZ, or the Hornets.com page, thank you all for joining us here today. It's been a very exciting couple of days in Buzz City as the team added 4 picks in the 2025 NBA draft. On stage, we have the 4th overall selection out of Duke, Con Knippel, first-round pick Liam McNeely out of the University of Connecticut, and then on the second day of the draft, round 2, the Hornets added 2 more picks, Sion James, also out of Duke, and Ryan Kalkbrenner out of Creighton University. As we build this new era of Hornets basketball, we're thrilled to build out around our core with young, versatile talents and extraordinary workers with high character, such as the group we have on stage with us today. Joining them on stage at the end, we have Hornets head coach Charles Lee, and we've got President of Basketball Operations Jeff Peterson, who's going to tip things off with an opening statement.
Thank you guys for being here, season ticket holders, media members, Hornets employees. Really appreciate you guys just coming out to support. You know, throughout the process, we thought it was important to again, identify players who fit what we're about, and these 4 gentlemen, they embody everything that we want to be about in terms of just competitiveness, versatility, IQ, you know, and just their willingness to be a part of the team and make people better. So, again, cannot tell you guys how thrilled we are to have them a part of our organization and our family, and it's an exciting day for the Hornets. And we can't wait to see what they do on this journey coming up. So with that said, we'll open it up to questions.
Jeff, thank you very much. For the assembled media here, if you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand. A member of the PR staff will get you a microphone. And if you'd be so kind, seeing as it's your first time meeting our draft picks, let us know who you are and who you're representing.
Hello, can you hear me? Congratulations, everybody. Sam Perley with Hornets.com. Welcome to Charlotte. I'm curious, there's a little bit of familiarity amongst you guys. Just kind of for each one of you, Con and Sion, you guys obviously played together. So I'm curious, how would you best describe the other person's game and what the team is getting from, you know, your previous college teammate? And then for Ryan and for Liam, you guys played against each other in the Big East kind of the same way. What do you, from being on the opposing side, what are the Hornets getting in the other person?
Sion's a great teammate, first and foremost. Obviously a great player, but he's a guy that's willing to do anything that the team needs to win. You know, he's a great rebounder, great defender, smart with the ball, makes good decisions. And he can really knock down threes out to catch and shoot. So he's a guy that brings a good versatility to the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, and for Con, of course you guys know Con's game. Con's a great dude, one of my favorite teammates, someone that I'm glad to be able to play with again, share the floor with again. More than anything, Con's a competitor, and he's someone that wants the ball, especially when the moments are the biggest. Con's game speaks for itself. He makes shots, he makes plays for others, and he's going to make all of us better players and make this a better organization.
First of all, thank you all for being here. I'm super excited to be a Hornet. But let's just say I'm glad to be on Ryan's team this time. He made it really difficult. He was really difficult to play against. He's like a 7'5" wall in front of the basket. One of the best defensive bigs in the Big East ever, in my opinion. Great player.
Yeah, same with me. I'm glad to be on the same team as Liam this time. High level scorer. Found that out in Omaha when he dropped 40 on us. So hopefully it'll be good to be on the same side of that this time. But yeah, high level competitor, high level scorer. It's going to be a lot of fun to be on the same team as him.
Rod Boone, Charlotte Observer, right here, guys, over here in the back. Just for each of the players, the Hornets organization, what do you guys know about the team and the organization before you got here, and how do you want to change the perception that's maybe nationally about just how the organization is perceived, not around these parts?
Obviously, you know, Coach Lee and Jeff Peterson here to my right have made it known that they want to change the culture here. They made that known to us on the visit and the interviews at the Combine. So it's bringing in high character guys that are about the right things, about playing together, about winning. And, you know, that's going to take some time, and we're all here, and I think bought in to be able to do that.
I mean, it's a really young team, but everybody's been so welcoming. Jeff, Coach, some of the guys have been texting me, and I know Con as well. But it just brings almost like a familiarity to the group, and it's like a sense of team connectedness. But yeah, like Con said, I'm super bought in and ready to give everything I have to this program.
Yeah, those two pretty much said it all. The biggest thing that we're looking to build the team with a high culture team, a high character team, and a team that's going to be winning and sustainable for the future. And it's cool to be able to do this with these guys.
Yeah, kind of what those guys already said. When I came for my workout for my pre-draft stuff, you could feel like the excitement and the energy just in the workout and around the building and all that. You can tell that what they're building here is going to be something special, so I'm excited to be a part of it. I know these guys are going to be a big part of it as well. I'm excited to go on this journey with them.
And then for Charles, according to Jeff, you help scout these guys, I guess, in terms of the process. So could you give me a scouting report and how you feel these guys will each help you win games?
Yeah, it was very kind of Jeff to say that. I would actually give him and his group a ton of credit for these individuals that we have up here today. I think that they do a phenomenal job of identifying characteristics that we are looking for to continue to move this thing forward and build sustainable success. I think that, you know, in the heat of the moment, sometimes you can get caught up and you can be tempted by other situations, and they stayed true to their process and to their core and what they know that our team needs on and off the court. And I think they did a phenomenal job. Every now and then, if they ask me to impart some jewels of what I think they could add to our team or to our culture, I would try to do that. I would try to study, but I could never keep up with them with how much film they watch. But, you know, just going down the line, I think they all have different skill sets. The biggest thing that they're going to add to our group immediately is competitiveness, the hard work, and understanding that nothing's going to be given to them from day one, that they're going to have to earn it, that they're going to have to work hard, but they're committed to that. When you sit down with these guys and you talk to them about what they love about the game, it's like the work that goes into the game, not just the actual tipping it up and getting to play in front of the crowds. And so that, like, to embrace that part of the journey is really important and rare. And the other part that I think that they're going to bring is just another level of togetherness and a commitment to sacrificing whatever's needed to help the team win and help the team continue to move forward.
Hi, guys. Over here on the left, Will Pelagic from WFNZ, the radio home of the Hornets. In terms of, for each of the players, the teammates that you now will see, the existing Hornets players, for each of you, what excites you about some of the players that you guys have seen play in the league and now are your new teammates?
Well, I just think for me, I remember Coach Lee talking about players watching the workout. So when I was here, there was a bunch of guys watching me work out. I didn't see that every workout I did for the other teams. There wasn't that level of interest. So you feel that support. And, you know, the guys calling you and texting you. That's really special, especially on the night of and the day after. Makes you feel like you're a part of something right away.
I kind of like what Khan said. Like I was getting texts from the guys pretty soon after I got drafted. I mean, that's just a cool feeling. NBA players are texting me. I still feel like a kid, so it's pretty cool. But there's a lot of talent on this team, a lot of young talent, and I'm super excited that this group is going to add to that.
Yeah, I would second what they said. The biggest thing to know is just a lot of talent in the room. We're going to walk into a locker room full of talent and full of a bunch of guys who can get after it, and we're going to have to compete for everything. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun, and we're going to get better because of it.
the same thing these guys said, especially Con, when I was at my workout for pre-draft, like some of the guys who were already on the team were around and were talking to us, not just like acting like we weren't there, and actually showed an interest in us and getting to know us a little bit. So definitely exciting going to that type of locker room where like everyone in the locker room wants to get to know you and help you along and build something special.
And quickly for Jeff and Charles, this infusion of 4 young players skews the roster a lot younger. How much does that excite each of you that you now get 4 new guys to kind of help from the ground up, and it adds to not only the youth of the roster, but you talked a lot about Hornets DNA. How much does it impact you guys being able to do that from the ground floor all the way up?
Yeah, look, I think the youth is definitely important. More than anything, I would say is these guys are winners. It was a huge part of the equation in wanting to draft them. Whether it's in high school or college, they all have a ton of accolades, but winning is the priority for them. They hate losing more than they love to win, which is what we want to be about.
Jeremy Grandison, ESPN Charlotte, second row back here, guys. Question for Coach. Can you talk about how these players, for like a lack of better words, open up the playbook on offense and defense for you, guys like Ryan and guys like Sion, and then Liam and Con as well?
It's extremely exciting. I actually, text Jeff after the draft and was like, heck of a job. Like, we just got so much better in a lot of different ways. And I think that we now defensively, because that's always like the way to my heart, we've added a couple guys, 4 guys now that like compete their tails off. And to have the 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year on our side, and having a guy that I think can help us really anchor our defense and help us protect the paint, and then the versatility from the other 3 guys to guard multiple positions, to refuse to be screened, the active hands, all the winning plays. I believe it was Con's highlight film during the ESPN draft where like he's diving on the floor and then he's yelling at the crowd. Like, we need those type of plays, those 50-50s. And so we're going to get a scrappy, gritty group defensively, and then offensively we're adding some shooting, we're adding some IQ, we're adding guys that can play with each other and play off the ball, play on the ball. So like you said, the playbook gets to really expand as they continue to grow as well.
This is Richie of BuzzBeat over here to your left. This is directed at Con and Liam, if you have time. When we think about your game, we think about the three-point shooting. That's the first thing that comes on the scouting report. But with NBA defenses, maybe shading you inside the arc, can you speak to your level of comfort playing with the ball in your hands and just why it's important to counter that on the NBA level in terms of not just being billed as a three-point shooter?
Yeah, I think obviously the three-point shooting, like you mentioned, is a huge part of my game, and I think I'm more than that, obviously, and I've always been more than that. I think I showed that at Duke this year, my ability to play with the ball and ball screens, to attack closeouts, to be crafty in that way. But yeah, I think there's more than just the three-point shooting in my game.
At UConn, I had to do a lot more than I expected. I had the ball in my hands, and I was forced to create for myself and others. So that got me outside my comfort zone, and I mean that forces you to get better. And I got comfortable towards the end. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hunter Bailey with the Charlotte Observer for Sion and Ryan. I mean, it's been less than 24 hours since you guys got drafted to the NBA. What has that been like? What kind of whirlwind? And have you slept at all?
Yeah, it's definitely been a whirlwind. It's definitely been quick. My parents are right here in front of you, and you can see they're still real sleepy for sure. It's awesome, though. This is what you dream of. We knew it was going to be a quick turnaround. We knew everything was going to happen really quickly. But the excitement is keeping me up, keeping me energized, and I guess it's awesome.
Yeah, same deal with me. I think me and my wife got 3 hours of sleep last night trying to catch an early morning flight to get here, but I mean, it's all worth it. It's what you dream of as a kid, so whatever you got to do to make this happen, and we're doing it.
Mike Seth from Quincy News and Carolina Sports Live. This is for Jeff and Charles. In piggybacking off of what the players said, they had current players there for their workouts. So the follow-up would be, how much did your current players, offer advice and influence in who you ended up picking?
Yeah, it's what you love about them, the guys that are currently on the roster, because they care. They're invested. Again, we're all pulling in the same direction. So you inevitably, we disagree on some things, of course, which is good. You want to get their opinion. But at the end of the day, it all goes back to, again, winning characteristics and habits that we want to be about. And but it was good to have Melo and Brandon and Miles, all those guys. They were in there, they're watching and, again, offering their input on these guys.
Down here, to all the players to your right, you got Matt Alkiza with Sports Illustrated. At every stop in all of your basketball careers, you've played on some great teams with some great players. How is that experience going to shape you coming to the NBA, playing on the Hornets with all of this talent that the team already has that you guys have talked about?
I think that was a big part in my decision process at Duke, and one that made me a lot better as a player. Obviously, I wasn't the best player on my team, so learning how to affect winning in other ways when you don't always have the ball, you're not always going to shoot. Learning how you can be an effective player and really still make winning plays without the ball, defensively, rebounding, all those areas where you can help the team be successful.
So my high school team, we had 6 seniors within the top 40, ranked in the top 40, and 4 of us were drafted in the first round. So I think that taught me how to play with other great players, find a role, and just devote myself to winning. And playing for Coach Hurley at UConn, I think that opened me up to a real intense coach, and I think that's going to serve me well throughout my NBA career.
Yeah, playing with talent, it's been awesome. It's something that makes us all better. Like Con said, I was the last one to join our team last year. I know it. Knew what kind of loaded team we were walking into. Also wasn't the best player on the team, obviously, but we knew what kind of group we had. And it was one of those things where it forces you to figure out, like Liam said, where you can fit in, what's your niche, and how can you just impact winning at a really high level, and how you can continue to grow your game from there. And just having that experience helped me out a ton.
Back row here, Kenneth Lee with WFAE. A question for Coach Lee. What's your expectation for this group for Summer League?
My expectation for these guys is to come in and have an open mind. I think try to learn as much as possible the first couple days, get themselves acclimated to offensive and defensive, kind of just like terminology. Getting them in the habit of routines and working with our performance staff and our coaching staff, and go out there and be yourself, compete at a high level, which is what the expectation of a Hornet is on every day, and being obsessed with just trying to get better. It's not to go out there and score 30 points or 40 points. I want to see you dive on the floor. I want to see you go vertical. I want to see you make the extra pass when the defense is shifted, and hopefully that's going to help our Summer League team have more wins in the win column. But that has got to be the focus, just trying to play team basketball.
Jeff, this is for Jeff and Con. This is Daryl Horowitz from Queen City Nerve. I imagine you watched a lot of Duke basketball, Jeff, during the season, and you got a chance to see Con and Cooper Flagg, for instance. And aside from Cooper Flagg maybe being a little bit taller and possibly a little bit hoppier, what your comparison might be between him and Con? And for you, Con, how do you think your game equates? Because you have quite an all-around game too. So that's really the question for both of you. Yeah,
I think again they're both winners. They're both versatile. I would say we got the better shooter, but look, they compete on the defensive end. They're both versatile. They can make plays with the ball in their hands. They can play off the ball. So they do have a lot of I'd say parallel traits to one another that, again, ultimately, in my mind, in our mind, they at the end of the day equate to winning.
Yeah, I think just we have a similar thought process on how to play the game. It's not about individual accolades or whatever. It's all about winning, all about making the right plays and giving effort 100% of the time.
This question's for Charles and Jeff both, and I'm not sure how much you were able to watch the ACC tournament. Charles, you're probably on the road. Jeff, not sure if you went to any of the games, but how much did Con's performance after Cooper's injury kind of enhance what you already knew about him, as a basketball player and all that he can do, but as a leader as well?
Yeah, it was certainly another valuable data point. Again, just his ability to adapt in real time in that situation. That's what the NBA is about, right? Things rarely go the way that you think they're going to go. Again, it's a testimony to just his mindset, his character, showing that he can step up in a different role when the team needs him to do that. And then when Cooper does come back, he can kind of assimilate back into the role he was in before. So it was certainly a very valuable data point.
Agree with Jeff. Great data point. It was cool to actually watch some clips with him from the tournament and see some of the possessions, because I think like Sion hit on it perfectly. In the biggest moments when you need him to step up, he's willing to do it. And so there's a level of just humility to do whatever the team needs. There's a level of sacrifice, but there's also like a internal drive that he knows that he can do it. He's a confident player. He's a smart player, and he kind of like helped will that team back into the game. Like there's moments that they're down, and you're playing an important game during an ACC during a tournament game without one of your best players. And so I think that it was just really impressive and just showed the type of character and commitment to competitiveness that he has.
Guys, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. I'll welcome all of you to Charlotte. Ryan, I wanted to ask you about, you're four-time Defensive Player of the Year in a pretty tough conference. Where did you start to develop that defensive mentality of, rim protecting and everything else? And, I guess have you been tall pretty much your whole life? And then secondly, for Charles and Jeff, the opportunity that he has here, especially with the trade with Mark, I wonder if you could talk about that as well.
Yeah, I think my defensive game was always a little ahead of my offensive game, so that's kind of how I got my foot in the door in college, and how it got me minutes to start my college career. So that's kind of always what I've hung my hat on, and I've always loved playing defense more. I've liked playing offense, and a lot of it just comes down to practice. I wouldn't say I have just like a special knack for it. Like just like anyone with any skill, I had to practice and work on it and get better. But when you play in college for 5 years, you tend to get a little better at things.
How tall were you at what age, sort of? I mean, like, for instance, 8th grade, 10th grade?
I never really went on a growth spurt. I just was a constant grower. I was always tallest in my class. I think I was like 6'2" in 8th grade, and then just grew like 3 inches every year in high school. So, I don't know. No.
Sorry for
that. I grew the same every year. I don't know why that's a growth.
I think Ryan obviously has an incredible opportunity. Of course, we still have Nurkic and Musa, but I think, and Charles can get into this a little bit more of how he plans to use them, but they're all three different skill sets, and they bring a different look to the game, whether it's defensively, if Charles wants to mix up coverages or whatever it may be. So, again, I think that at the end of the day, it could be a weapon for us, just the different looks we can throw at teams. But I'll let Charles can get a little granular with that.
No, it'll be fun to be able to play with like 3 different pitches in your arsenal and in your tool belt. I think he also has a great opportunity to learn from 2 other guys that were here last year. And Moose is obviously more of a switching big, but plays really high energy and has one way of trying to protect the paint. And Nurk's obviously been around, and he's got a different way. And so I think that he has an opportunity to learn from really 2 good guys on top of the coaching staff. And his instincts and his mindset are going to help me even explore different options. I always give credit to the players. They're out there doing it sometimes. So learning him and watching him in Summer League will help me figure out, exactly how I can best use him defensively. And then offensively, I think that he poses a problem down there in the paint. More teams are switching now, so the ability to throw him down on the post, and I feel like I've seen him pass a little bit. And so, can we play through the post and do some post splits and get these guys coming off and shooting and stuff? So, we've all talked about all these guys' versatile skill sets, and I think Ryan has the same thing. And so we'll continue to kind of develop those and obviously just evaluate them as we get more time with them.
Richard Walker, Carolina Sports Hub. This is for you, Jeff. Obviously, you kind of had an old school, new school draft. You're part of 2 of the 18 record-setting freshmen. Then you draft 2 fifth-year guys. Talk about what that means for the NBA draft future, and did that happen, or was it just kind of by accident?
Yeah, look, it just kind of happened. It certainly wasn't our intention going into the night. I give a ton of credit to our group, our scouting staff, our analytics staff, the coaches. They certainly had input into it, and there's a ton of work that goes into the entire draft process. But we felt good where we landed with all four of these guys, and just so be it that a couple of them are younger and a couple of them are a little older, but. I think again, I'll continue to go back to they all, regardless of age, they want to get better, right? They want to continue to push themselves and maximize their opportunity.
We have time for two more, so here and then back.
Jeremy Granderson, ESPN Charlotte. Question for Jeff. When you looked at this year's NBA playoffs, we saw that shooting, point of attack defenders, rebounding, and rim protection were vital to a team's success. How do you evaluate the current landscape of the NBA while also trying to see where the league is heading?
Yeah, and I think it's probably another layer to that too, right? There's a difference between regular season and the postseason, which we want to be at one point, and we're going to get there. But yeah, I think shooting is always going to be a premium. So anytime you can add that is certainly a great thing. But then again, I think the other thing that stands out when you watch the playoffs, it's IQ, right? IQ and toughness, and again, all four of these guys, their most powerful tool is their mind. They can really think the game and adapt, and when different coverages are thrown at them, and just willing again to explore different solutions within the game in real time. And then again, of course, the physicality. I love it. I love that it ramps up in the postseason. You got to be the first to hit, because if not, you're going to probably get embarrassed. So again, I love that these guys, again, they all have a physicality to them as well. So I think that they will continue to again push us in the right direction.
Final question.
Matt Raczynski from Hornets.com. Con and CM, you guys obviously played at Duke, so you know the passion and love that the Carolinas have for basketball. How excited are you to be able to just translate that over here to Buzz City?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be just down the road from where I was at. Obviously, having that support from Duke and those fans in North Carolina is going to be huge, and it's great to be back here. Wasn't gone for too long, and super glad to be here.
Yeah, and same here. I just started getting comfortable, and by the time I started really enjoying Durham and enjoying North Carolina, it was time to wrap it up. So it's nice to be able to play here now, play in Charlotte, and really kind of get involved here.
Excellent. You guys are going to love Charlotte. We're going to start reimagining the stage. We ask all the players to grab your jerseys and everyone else to please keep your seats. We're going to have a couple of photos here on stage. And while we do that, we want to say thank you to everyone joining us here live in person, as well as all those tuning in here to today's press conference welcoming the four newest members of the Charlotte Hornets organization. Also want to remind everyone that after 2 summers of reimagining Spectrum Center, we cannot wait to be back inside of our home building. 20th anniversary and begin the next season of Hornets basketball. So if you haven't purchased your tickets yet, I'm sure someone here can help you out with that. We look forward to seeing you when we tip off the season in October. And with that, we'll get some photos here of the newest members of the Hornets.